Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending on where you are joining us from. I would like to welcome you to the Startup Week and the Startup Pitch Competition, the third event in the Startup Week event series. We are here today as part of the Swiss Innovation Fest Vancouver with a focus on Cleantech, the event series that the Swiss Consulate in Vancouver has organized in order to be a platform for researchers, academia, entrepreneurs, policymakers, and the community to explore the potential of clean tech in creating the sustainable future for Canada and Switzerland. So as I mentioned, today is the final event of the Startup Week event series, the event series that we have organized in collaboration with ISM Arts Culture, Foresight Canada, Volition, as well as EPFL Innovation Park Switzerland Tech for Regeneration program. You will see 9 startups today pitching what they have learned from our colleagues at Foresight and Volition about the Canadian clean tech ecosystem, as well as how to prepare a Canada-specific pitch. I would like to welcome our keynote speaker today, David Avery, who is dialing in from Switzerland today. David has a background in the private sector, and then he also is a great advocate for sustainable circular economy. He led the Swiss Federal Clean Tech Promotion Mandate, hosted by Switzerland Global Enterprise, where he created a broad community to promote innovation and then its successful transfer to the market. He supported SMEs as part of Cleantech Fribourg to improve their efficiency and resilience, and then to establish the emergence of new clean technologies through the promotion of innovation and technology transfer. He recently also trained building efficiency experts and consultants for the European Energy Award. So welcome, David Avery, and thank you for being the keynote speaker for today.
Thank you very much, Tamara. So hello to everybody and a big welcome to the event today. I'd like to thank you for organizing the event and for the opportunity that, of course, it offers to help with technology transfer and with the business opportunities that it creates. So I'd like to extend my gratitude, particularly, of course, to all the supporters, organizers, and sponsors of this event to make it happen. And I hope to all the startups today that the sessions that you had with Foresight and with Volition, with Nina and Paul, have been really valuable in helping set the scene for you and preparing you for today's event. I'm really looking forward to it. So as Tamara said, David Avery, sustainability and clean tech expert based here in Switzerland. And to kick off, just a few thoughts that I put together to try to frame a little bit where we sit. The Cleantech Group see over $40 billion being invested in clean tech last year. And nearly a third, 28% of that comes from corporate investors. And I think that's a really important topic because it means that there's a lot of collaboration opportunities out there. Though lower than in 2021 and 2, as we've also seen in Switzerland, where roughly 2.6 billion was raised by the roughly 3,300 Swiss companies, according to the Swiss Venture Capital report. We still have, very importantly also, more than 50 new clean tech funds which are raising money. And I think that shows that there are very positive and strong signs around what is needed from clean tech and the expectations of it as we look forward to 2025. Maybe on a different note, according to EY, 22% only of the teams that got funding included women, and only 2% of the teams were women only in startups. And so I think that's definitely something to watch. And I think there we have a huge opportunity to try to set the balance. If I look at my screen, I don't see the same balance of the people online. So we'll see how that goes. So Switzerland and Canada certainly share many values, And this joint support for innovation is definitely not new. Over the last few years, we have seen the visit from Federal Councillor Deepeex to Canada, and before that, a virtual summit on innovation that was supported at the highest levels from both countries. And these events serve to provide a background against which an event like this can take place, where it provides now concrete steps for companies to back up the walk and the talk that has been done to prepare. And long, of course, may this collaboration continue. And before I close, I'd like to highlight just a few resources that are useful for companies. So along the supporters of this event, of course, there are great examples, clusters, organizations who can provide information and advice, such as Tech4Regen, Foresight, and SGE, along with InnoSwiss and SwissNex. And for the Swiss companies, there are other tools, for example, the Go Global platform to help you negotiate the different markets, and the International Starters Program. Collaborations, SwissNex, InnoSwiss, and SGE to help you being present at different exhibitions abroad. So I think these can be very valuable tools, and there are lots of reports available from the different representatives, countries around the world, and focusing here on Switzerland, of course, from the different partners available to you between Switzerland and Canada. I encourage you, therefore, to make absolutely full use of all the resources that are available and all the people that are gunning for you to be successful. So it's time for me now to hand over so that we can learn more about each of your companies. I'd like to thank you in advance, of course, for your work and the time and effort you've put into preparing. We absolutely need all of your contributions to help us solve the issues we all face. And we need you to bring them to the places where they can generate the maximum positive values. So it is with that it is great to have you here today. And I wish you all great success.
Hello there, everyone. I'm Scott Mallory of ISM. First, I want to thank Foresight and Volition for helping to bring the startups to this point. And I'd like to dive into what exactly is at stake here with our amazing judges and the prizes. So our judges, David Avery, who you just heard from, leading international Cleantech consultant in Switzerland. We have Ben Venter, VP of Energy Industries at the major corporation ABB Canada. We have Meryl K. De Leon, founder of Para, a blended capital solutions firm in Canada. We have Wani Alali, the CEO of Alpha Plexus, a growth and acquisitions firm, also based in Canada. We have Nina Bader, the manager of BC Ecosystems at Foresight, which is Canada's leading clean tech accelerator, one of our main partners for this series, as well as Paul Brassard, the managing partner at Volition, startup advisory, which is actually a staple in Canada's startup ecosystem. And so we have a wide variety of prizes available. We have from our partners, Velocity Inc., in-kind tech development, either for that product or for scaling infrastructure at the organizational level for the startups. We have startup visa support. So ISM Arts and Culture is actually a designated organization by Canada to support startup visa. The series is called Bringing Swiss Clean Tech Startups to the Canadian Market. So we can actually make that happen. So prioritized startup visa support. From Para, we have investor introductions. They have a wide network of over 100 funders. Let's go to the next slide here. We have Alpha Plexus in the room. So growth advisory, that's pretty much where these startups are headed or where they are. We have complimentary consultations for that. We also have complimentary consultations by my colleague Ariane, who is a consultant at ISM and a project manager at Google, who can talk to startups about global project management and international business and any challenges they might face there. Also from ISM, Jasmine Ramani, a business consultant who can talk about expansion. She's built global markets for interesting companies like Airbnb, ran national operations for Expedia Canada. and a couple of special prizes here for the winning startup. There will be a complimentary session with Foresight Canada, individual consultation. Again, Canada's leading clean tech accelerator. No one better to talk to about that. And finally, for the audience here, there will be an audience vote. That vote will go to the Serendipity Institute, a complimentary consultation with John Brill, who is Forbes's #1 ranked futurist and recognized by other organizations as well. So that's the wild card there from the audience. So I'd like to call upon Deepeex, a next generation geothermal company. So we will go for 4 minutes with each startup. Maybe there'll be time for a little bit of Q&A with the judges for one question, but we will keep the show going, and the audience will have a chance to ask the startups questions after all of the pitches. So Deepeex, if you are ready, please unmute yourself, share your screen.
First of all, it's a pleasure to be here and present Deepeex in front of all of you. So Deepeex is a deep energy extraction company, next generation geothermal. So the problem that we're actually resolving or addressing is related to energy security and energy independence. And as all of us know, that comes from the high dependence on fossils. So, and the way how we address that problem is that we're tackling the actual sources of energy, of electricity production. And as far as we know right now, the main sources of electricity that are currently offered to solve our energy dependence and climate change issues are solar, wind, and a few others. And at this to this date, at the moment, those sources are, we know, not enough. Maybe in some countries the situation is better, but overall, globally, we need to have other sources. And not only sources that provide, let's say, electricity, but those that are actually can be used at specific locations. Because in some countries, solar or wind might be not that adaptable. And that specific source of energy, the one that we're targeting, is geothermal. But let's say not the one that everyone think about when we talk about geothermal, not the conventional, let's say, type of source, which is related to volcanic activities, magma being close to the surface, but the one that is coming from natural radioactivity, which is the primary source of heat actually in the Earth crust. And that type of source, this type of energy is available actually everywhere. It's homogeneously distributed and accessible, but it's present deep underground. And the way how we aim to solve it is by building power plants that are placed deep underground. And we're talking about 2-3 kilometers deep power plants. And where the actual electricity production happens directly underground via direct conversion of the geothermal heat to electricity, without the actual heat being transferred to the surface and without the use of turbines. And this is where we are different from conventional geothermal, because the conventional one targets specific locations, volcanic regions, and limited to those locations. In our case, we can position our power plants essentially everywhere, because that type of heat is not concentrated, but it's present everywhere. And that's why our power plants are distributed under the ground. We already filed patents that describe the technology, and in the pipeline we have more patents to file regarding the actual design of the underground systems. And even numbers that we estimated, commercial viability, shows that we are quite compatible. And specifically this highlighted column that shows the levelized cost of energy, on the bottom, these are ours, show that we are quite competitive in terms of price. Moreover, what we're targeting is the electricity production market, which we know is growing, especially dominated right now by electrified transport. And this is also one of the use cases that we target, specifically our power plants being built at the gas stations on the highways. Yes, we have competitors, and actually one of our major competitors, or main competitor, is a Canadian company, Ever, who actually demonstrated quite a lot of aspects of our technology, which we're actually happy with. And there are a few other primarily North American companies that are in that sector, where basically they target new, or the next generation geothermal solutions. Our timeline was quite long. This is just to show that we started in 2006, where the first, let's say, idea came to and basically, and then there were multiple steps going forward, raising funds. So far, we raised already 1.4 million, did feasibilities, and so on. And we're moving forward right now, where we aim to attract additional funding from government grants and move to the actual technology implementation. And then there are multiple steps required to actually make this solution a reality. And one of them is related to scaling up the actual production of the converters that we use in our power plants, and that implies us becoming essentially a production company, hardware production company that builds those converters. And we already in quite great details estimate all those steps for the next essentially 5-6 years. And currently we have a team that is made both of technical people and business, quite actually right now overweighted by business experts. And also we have quite significant presence from the Gulf, as you can see there, primarily because actually there is a quite significant interest from there, and well, our actually angel investors are coming from there. And what we're right now looking for is our next investment round, or closing the pre-seed round of 3 million at 15 million pre-money valuation. And that's it.
All right, thank you very much. That's very relevant and remarkable that you're able to identify and build on a Canadian competitor there specifically. So that's really great. I'm going to go ahead and move to the next startup. Thanks a lot, Ruslan. So we'll now move to Swiss Vault, who's working on sustainable data storage.
Thank you very much, Scott. And thank you also for this wonderful opportunity to the sponsors and organizers to present. So Swiss Vault, what we're doing, I'm working with a tremendous team. My name is Bhupinder. I'm one of the co-founders, and we are building technologies for sustainable data storage. And we want to enable people to hold data for 100 years. And so data is quite dirty. It has a massive environmental footprint. And you might not know that when you send one email with one attachment, it has the same carbon footprint as a small plastic bag. And we send millions of these emails every minute. You can't imagine if you send millions of plastic bags every minute and toss them out. But that's the situation today. And but data's carbon footprint is due to its massive energy consumption and infrastructure costs. So today, data management, transmission, storage, compute consumes about 4% of the global energy production. That's more than what Germany or Japan consume. And data carbon emissions is about 2% of global carbon emissions. That's more than what the airline industry produces. And the primary reason is because of these data storage racks. These racks are the standard today. They use about 50,000 watts of power. They're refreshed every 3 to 5 years. They're producing lots of electronic waste and, of course, high cost to operate. So where we come in is that we've innovated on the data storage rack server with software and hardware. I'm going to show you just by hardware because it's visual and you can see it. On the left-hand side, you see the standard data storage rack unit. It has 48 disks, as you see my cursor on the front. It has compute and storage and fans in the back, and also power supplies. And where we've innovated is we removed all the unnecessary components and put everything that's on the back that's relevant onto the green board. That's our innovation. using innovative parts as well. And we reduced the volume from 57 liters down to 7 liters. That's an 8-fold reduction in volume and a 10-fold reduction in energy. So you can use these small systems, which are about 10 centimeters deep and 15 centimeters tall and 43 centimeters wide, to build these larger systems that I'm showing you on the right-hand side. And on the left-hand side, you see the conventional rack. It has 2.5 petabytes of data storage. And our system has 10 petabytes. That's 4 times more storage in 1/3 the size. So we're 14 times more data storage density in a system than would you have comparable to a converged rack system that we use today, and 10 times more energy efficiency. So with this, you can see how more organizations can store more data at the edge, enable them to participate in the data economy, but do it sustainably. And our second innovation is on software. So we use software to basically reduce the data volume, but increase the data resiliency and automate all the difficult tasks that it is to manage data, like backups, scale-ups, fixing files. But more importantly, what we did was we reduced the risk of ever losing your data. So now, rather than 3 to 5 year cycles, we can run our systems to the end of their life. So we can get 10 years, maybe even 20 years on our servers. So that reduces the electronic waste dramatically. So the market that we're going after is massive, 131 billion just in infrastructure alone for data centers. And the market we've been concentrating on is in Europe and North America, which is about 16 billion and growing year on year. So our business model is that we're leasing the systems, and we think that this will bring the greatest value to a customer because they don't have to manage the system. They always get the best innovation as it's being upgraded. So our vault file system, for instance, targeted $1 per terabyte per month, and our tower system is about $10 per terabyte per month. And if you compare that to AWS Glacier, which is just static storage, that's about $23 per terabyte per month. So we're bringing great value to customers at a lower cost. So we have a number of attractions. Seagate and Western Digital are testing our software and giving us feedback and maybe become our partners. We have 2 universities, Binghamton University and Rise University, who are validating our technology and giving us all kinds of feedback and helping to position our technology as the most sustainable in the market. And partners like BGFS, for instance, were helping us to expand our customer base. And then we have 2 great partners, CERN and BC, who recognize the technology that we built and will position themselves to actually test it and help us to bring it to market. We won lots of awards, and I won't go through them, but more importantly, in Switzerland, we have the Solar Impulse Efficient label. That gives us tremendous access to the market by giving us a label that people can trust. So this is the team that's bringing the innovation to market. Myself and Doug are co-founders. We have Paul, who brings in decades of experience in financial management, especially in startup space, and the Joe Suppers, who's been pioneering a lot of the edge systems for data storage and building data and sustainable data storage technologies. And together, we're also looking to expand our team. That's one of the things that I'm trying to do this year, bring new skills onto the team. So our ask is that we are looking for partners that can help us do pilot testing, especially in the Canadian market, looking for partnerships, co-development. And later on this year, we'll be looking to start raising our fundraise for next round, which we want to complete in 2025. So thank you very much. Open to questions.
Thanks a lot. Once again, that's remarkable. I'll definitely be thinking twice before I send that next email. Either that or the cybersecurity for using cloud. So on that note, I'm just going to move to the next startup. I'll go to Bohr Robotics, working on robots for geothermal drilling.
Thank you very much. My name is Hans Eik. I'm one of the co-founders of Bohr Robotics, and we are a university, spin-off university from Switzerland, and we produce Bohr robots for geothermal drilling in small spaces. Our first robot you see on the picture, it's called Grabowski. It's our first robot and our first prototype. Let's introduce Mike. Mike is one of our customers. He is a geothermal drill master. He owns the biggest drilling company in Switzerland with 18 drill rigs. For geothermal heat pump systems, for heating and cooling your homes, you need boreholes around about 200 meters depth. And you need for this a 6 to 8 meters height drill rig. You need a lot of drill pipes. You need an air pressurizer for hammering the drill head. And you need containers for the debris. It takes up to 50 square meters of space, destroys the garden, and uses up to 5 tons of CO2 only producing such boreholes. So we are living in Winterthur, Switzerland. As you can see, it's a normal European city. Why is that a problem for Mike? He can't even get there because there is not enough space to drill. He loses revenues, we lose sustainable heating. In Winterthur, over 50 million of revenue cannot be made due to lack of space. It's tons of CO2 which we could save there. The thing is, without geothermal energy, we are not reaching net zero goals, and there are thousands of cities like Winterthur, which you see here. So what's our idea? We integrated the whole drill rig, which you saw on the last slides, inside the borehole itself. We need only electrical energy, a little pump and a filter, and only a little container. In total, we need only 8 square meters of space. No pipes, no pressurizer. So it's space efficient, it's high tech, it runs autonomously, and it's energy efficient. We save almost 94% of CO2. It's a game changer for the industry. Here you can see one of the producers of geothermal drills, the company Clem. There's a person next to it for scale. What you might not see is that person holding a Grabowski. So it's really that small for drilling boreholes, our drilling system. How we want to earn money? We want to help Mike use our BoreBot. We want to make it easy for him and all the other customers. So we rent out the machines to our customers, the drilling companies. They drill the boreholes for the building owner and get a standard price in Switzerland, Germany, 75 Swiss francs per meter. The drilling company gives us 25 Swiss francs per meter. So we sell drilling by the meter, and our market entry is planned for 27 with our first Swiss customers. Let's take a look at the team. We are 3 experienced founders. Philip and I have been working together since 7 years. Moritz and I founded previous startups. Up to now, we are in total 8 people full-time working. As you can see, we are still lacking the female energy, but we're working on it. Up to now, diversity is in age, background, and origin. Let's look at the funding. We are looking for additional 250,000 Swiss francs, so it's almost 1 Swiss franc, it's almost $1, to close the first round. In total, 1.5 million is missing. That means we already fundraised 850,000 Swiss francs. We still have commitments for funding round 2 for next year, which is around about 3 million. With the additional money, we want to improve our prototype. We want to finance our 200-meter tests, which will begin in the end of this year. We secured 3 patents, which protect us in the market, and we already have 11 letters of intent and commitments from customers in Switzerland and Germany. As I said, we are not only looking for money. Beside that, we are looking for an investor who has access and connection to the international clean tech market. We are robotics, and we design a new type of geothermal drill that will change the heating markets. Thank you very much for listening, and let's move to your questions if you have some.
Thank you, Hans. Congratulations for building that. This gives you a whole other sense of scale. He's saying like you only need a human-sized sort of machine. That's all. But anyway, I love these innovations. Let's see. Let's go on to the 4th one. So composite recycling, who's working on reduction of carbon emissions.
All right. So I'm Smaranda Young from Composite Recycling, and I wanted to tell you a little bit more about composite materials, which in principle have fueled innovation over the last 50 years. They have outstanding properties like high resistance and lightweight. And you can find them everywhere, really, in airplane interiors, wind turbine blades, in transportation, and in the production of boats. So the problem is that composites were designed to be durable, and they were not designed to be recycled. So today, the primary means of disposal is landfilling, which contaminates our soil. With the banning in Europe on landfilling, companies have gone over to incineration, but incinerated composite material release toxic gases that will breathe. And another way of disposal is just simply abandon. For example, boats are abandoned in ports, which pollute our water ecosystems with microplastics. So this is a huge problem today, with 500,000 tons of composite waste generated only in Europe and only last year. And we expect this amount of waste to more than double by 2030. So it is a big problem, but for us, this is a business opportunity. We have a solution which addresses this urgency. As you can see here in our business model to the left, we collect the composite waste and we heat it up in an oxygen-free environment in ovens that you can see in the middle. And like this, we vaporize the resin and separate it from the glass fibers, meaning that we preserve the length and the integrity of the fibers and we avoid shredding them. And then we use a post-treatment that ensures the high quality of our fibers and that the pyrolysis oil, which are our both outputs, can be reused by industrial partners. You can, the coins that I have put in these pictures is actually the revenue streams, and you can see that we have revenues both at the input level in terms of recycling fees that we collect, and also at the output level through the sale of glass fibers and pyrolysis oil, which we sell to our industrial partners who also do provide their waste. So there was not more room on this slide to put the circularity element, but it is really closing the loop on the composite waste. And the pyrolysis oven that you see in the middle of these slides is placed in a container, which creates mobile units that can then be deployed, for example, via trucks or boats to disposal sites. And this maximizes accessibility, it minimizes costs, and it reduces the additional pollution from transportation of bulky waste. So this is our roadmap. We were founded in the middle of 2021, so about two and a half, 3 years ago, as a Swiss company. Over the last 3 years, we have engineered the technology. We have now proven the technology for industrializations. We have already conducted more than 350 client recyclability tests, and we have secured strategic partnerships with industry giants across different areas, marine, aerospace, transportation, which validates our approach. So as you can see in the launch column, this year, our first large-scale reactor will become operational. And this paves the way for scaling up with 3 additional commercial units in 2025. Each unit is projected to treat 1,000 tons of composite waste per year. And as you can see in the graph, we'll be recycling 4,500 tons of composite waste in 2026, resulting in nearly 7,000 tons of CO2 savings. So in terms of revenues, we had our initial revenues of 100,000 last year, with forecast sales of 2.3 million in 2025 and 7 million in 2026. Our margins are over 40%, and we expect to become break-even in the next 18 months. So this is our ask. It's an investment proposal, and we invite you to be part of our journey. We are just now doing our fundraising, and we're doing it in 2 parts. The first part is going on just right now. We're raising 1.1 million Swiss francs in convertible loans. which will be used for the initial machine delivery that I mentioned for this summer, for the compliance, for the establishment of value chain, and also reinforce the market traction that we already have begun. This will be followed by a second phase where we are asking for 4 million for the scale up of the machine. In terms of team, we are still a small but very dynamic team. We have accumulated decades of experience across the composite industry, pyrolysis, finance, entrepreneurship. And as you can see here on the right, our talents have been widely recognized through a range of grants and awards. And we have also received quite some visibility in European press. And we hope that we will also receive visibility in a future expansion towards Canada and North America. So this is about us, and we hope that it kind of sparks an interest that you join us on this journey. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot for that. That's ambitious and inspiring. I like how it's applicable to so many different industries. Can't wait to see what's next there. I might have a question for you in the chat about that. Okay, so we'll keep moving right along. So Lagrange AI working on sustainability for supply chains.
All right, great. So at Lagrange AI, we are in a mission to support companies integrate AI into their value chains, aiming for tenfold business and social impact in cost saving, in CO2 emission reduction, and enhanced operational efficiency. So it sounds very serious. Let's kick a start with a fun question. What do you see among these items in common, apart from their Swiss charm and Swiss cuteness? They're all manufactured and go through a complex supply chain, leaving carbon footprint to reach in our hands. So traditionally, Excel being used, and it's very easy to use, and it fails on a scale and a speed. Now, other softwares or other fantastic tools, which I will briefly show later, came and offered piecemeal solutions and lack overlap, integrated and customized approach, and that's the problem. So you see, on a journey from data to insight, regardless of supply chain, anywhere, and you faced it as well if you're dealing with data and different data sources, we observe at least 70% of the project time and effort are taken by data integration from multiple data sources, and they are increasing daily. Checking data quality and missing data for an analysis that should have been done yesterday. And today might have a totally different environment given the current economic and geopolitical uncertainties. So some companies might be lucky having AI experts to build customized in-house AI solution and to cut CO2 or to use for operational efficiency and cost, but majority experience shortage of AI experts. And that's where we come in. We provide automated, integrated, and easy to use and highly customized decision-making tool. You may say, I mean, that's too good to be true. Well, let me show you one of our customer, let's say, client success stories. In Sika, a Swiss chemical multinational, acquired two companies, as you see, Daeplix and Hematai, in Japan market. And they needed our support for post-merger in their net zero journey. So we provided a solution with tenfold business impact that saved time, reduced CO2, and enhanced the operational efficiency. We have other client stories, but anyway, for the matter of time, I keep it this way. It's a blue ocean for supply chain integrated solution. And for the time being, and for now, we just concentrate on the sector of warehousing and distribution. The why is because of the opportunities for reducing cost and CO2 footprint. And there's low digital capability in this sector. These are our client, let's say, competitors. And what we do different from them, or let's put it this way, our unique selling propositions are integrated and easy AI solution for supply chain, as been tested, used by our trusted clients. So to create this table, of course, we kept our self-love in check to have this. And our dream team consists of experts in industry and academia. So far our journey been funded by 225K, and we earned 300K. And moving forward, we would like to raise 1.5 to incorporate in Canada, expand our R&D, and further develop our platform and get closer to our North American clients. So with your partnership, we can turn this vision into reality. Thank you for your time. And if you have any question, I would be happy to take them.
Thanks for that. I love seeing systems of systems of systems within systems, especially when it comes to digital technology. So let's move on to Hexam, who's working on biogas made from food waste.
Hi, I'm Michael. I'm the founder of Hexam. And before I walk you through this presentation, I would like to highlight that Hexam has actually started in Canada at the University of Calgary. So that's a little spoiler alert. But before we get there, I will show you a little bit more of what Hexam is doing right now. So this is a pilot that we have in a sugar factory. You can see how much wastewater they produce and how much biogas they need. What this company does is already they treat the wastewater, they produce that biogas. However, this isn't enough. And the wastewater that they produce in excess, they put that in holding ponds that you can see here. These holding ponds, they're an environmental mess. And half of these holding ponds, they're actually used for nitrogen removal. And then over the year, they're using these holding ponds to feed them into the reactor that I just showed you in the back in order to treat them for the rest of the year. They would like to change that situation, but they don't have the technology. So they reached out to Hexam to solve that issue. And that's also the reason why we are running the pilots there right now. What is the technology doing? So the technology is actually reducing the size of wastewater treatment plants. That means they become a lot more flexible, so we can rent them out. They are much more simple because they're containerized. They are modular. That means we can adapt also to the client's needs, and they have a lot of flexibility. That's essentially the bottom line here. What you can see here is a reactor in a wastewater treatment plant in Switzerland, and a pilot that is currently running here. How do we accomplish this? It's not magic, it's science. You can look this up. It's Gibbs-free energy. If you're increasing the electrical potential, then you're increasing the energy gain over time. That means you're reducing the time. Because we make this faster, what we can do is we can reduce the reactor size. And that's really just it. We have 2 patents granted in the United States. They are pending still in Europe, but it's the same arguments that the examiners brought forward, and I think we will also encounter that. Now, this is the first pilot that we had. That's a cheese treating pilot that you can see here in a municipal wastewater treatment plant. But then we have more pilots. You can see the one that I mentioned, that's the sugar factory on the right side. Then the other one that I mentioned, that's the municipal pilot that is running right now, which will move to another one. But you would like to branch out into other markets, to which I will come at the end of the presentation. Now, the markets that we are looking for right now, this is an example, that's a cheese maker. The wastewater treatment cuts on the natural gas need cuts into their gross margin by 36%. Keep in mind that natural gas is a lot more expensive in Europe than it is in Canada, where it's more or less for free. Now, what we would offer this client is either to purchase a system like this. They could do that with the help of a bank and also with the help of grants, because 50% is usually grants for this kind of projects here. However, if they do not want to purchase a system like this, they can rent it out and then they feel the benefit right away. That means they would pay a rent of 300K and then they will have a benefit of 400K every year. The market size, I would like to highlight this here, is 250 billion. That's the entire wastewater treatment market in the whole world. That's of course not what we want to get, but we want to get a huge chunk of this. So we will start out with the food and beverage industry, cheese, beer, and wine, about 700 million. However, there's other market segments. We now have an LOI from a pharma company. We'll launch this project very soon because they have micropollutants that we could also treat. Now, because this is a very nice and big market, of course, we have competitors. Two of them come from the United States. They do something very similar like we do. However, we have a patent on nitrogen removal. Nitrogen is a regulated compound. Everybody needs to remove this. And we have a patent on this. So that gives us a very strong position in the United States and also here in Europe. Now, the market direction that we have is, of course, the pilots that are running right now. We finished the pilot that I mentioned initially with the cheese wastewater. Then we have another LOI. Hopefully, we will start this pilot very soon with a pharma company here in Switzerland. But we would also like to branch out to Canada. I will come to that in a second. Before I talk a little bit about the business model, which is fairly simple. It's just renting this out. If we sell this, then we will do this with a service contract because we don't want our customer to mess with our systems. And also the customer doesn't want to do that either. Now, Hexam, what are we going to do right now? So we are now raising a round. We will finish this round in May. So there is a short, brief opportunity for you here. We are not looking for more than 600K because we already have secured quite a bit of this 1.3 million that we're looking for. If that's interesting for you, just reach out to me. Then there's more for the next round, but at a higher valuation, of course. And then further down the road, of course, after we develop the MVP, then we have to comply with the regulations, and then we will enter the market using the 2 demonstrators that we have. The team, that's very important. I'm very happy about our team. So we also have a female co-founder, that is Kasia, and then we also have a female business developer, that is Luisa, but we also have a researcher and a mechanical engineer. All of these team members are very awesome. We have fantastic advisors with lots of business experience, and they really help us a lot, and I'm really, really grateful for that. Now, this is where I want to get at. What I'm looking for is actually a real bargain. That's $500,000 for a joint pilot in Alberta to clean up the Athabasca oil sand tailings. That is really a $1 billion market opportunity if you keep in mind that we charge probably between 10 and 50 cents for a cubic meter. These are billions and billions and billions of cubic meters that are that just have to be cleaned up. And we would like to tap into this market with the help of a Canadian partner or with a Canadian investor and the Canadian university. Now, we already received support in Canada from NSERC and, of course, from CIC, from the colleges, and, of course, the University of Calgary. But we also received a lot of support here in Switzerland, so it's already a joint project. With that, I thank you so much. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. Call me, send me an email, and then we'll talk about this. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for that. There's so much you would never have thought of. The making of cheese, for example, it's like that's where innovation lives. I also like how it's so deeply science-backed and specifically science-backed, because what you have there is realistic optimism for such a ambitious solution there. Let's move on to Neology. So they're working on ammonia cracking for sustainable energy.
Very pleasure to meet you all. And so my name is Iris Marunian. I'm the founder and CEO of Neology. And as already introduced, we are working on hydrogen to decarbonize, but also enable the energy transition of all those heavy sectors, such as heavy duty transportation, trucks, boats, trains, but also heavy industries like metallurgic, mining, and also off-grid application, where electrification is difficult and where hydrogen has a game to play in the future. The big problem with hydrogen, as a lot of people get enthusiastic in the first place, is the way we supply it. So production and utilization have been proven, demonstrated through many projects, many companies, and many products. The supply is the biggest hurdle today. So usually to transport hydrogen, because of its nature of being a very small molecule and low energy density per volume, you need to either compress it at very high pressures or to liquefy it. And this makes it extremely dangerous in the transportation, in the utilization, and that makes it on top very expensive. Our approach is to utilize a different energy molecule that is also carbon-free, that is ammonia. Ammonia is an energy vector, can be used as an energy vector because it has 3.5 times more energy density per volume compared to hydrogen gas. It is a liquid at low pressure, ambient temperature. So what we propose is to crack on site where you need hydrogen. This is our technology of cracking. where we use specific catalysts, specific membranes to actually bring hydrogen at high purity to the point of use. The last point for ammonia, why we decided to use ammonia, it's the second most produced molecule on the planet, so that makes it available everywhere, and it's managed, it's regulated, so it's already here. All in all, what the clients ask us is to make it cheap, and that's the society where we are today. It's all about cost still today. Here we demonstrate through different projects, feasibility project we're doing for clients. That's just an example. If you use ammonia and you crack it on site, it's substantially cheaper than if you move hydrogen gas. Every project will be different. That's just an example. Here in Switzerland, where you would move 200 kilometers between the place you store the energy to the place you use the energy. And that's really the value proposition we have. Cheap and affordable and clean hydrogen at the point of use. In terms of market, I do not need to go through the numbers. They are crazy markets. The ones I showed at the beginning, this is billion markets. Our beachhead is to start where the demand is coming. The largest demand today is for mobility application for stations. So we are looking at using our technology to bring it hydrogen for hydrogen refueling station, where we bring ammonia to the station and we crack it on site. There might be other market coming later on, such as diesel generator replacement, which is something I think Canada has a long history on it, where we see a huge potential as well. So our go-to-market strategy is to start with on-site cracking. So that means you buy the system, you combine it to either a fuel cell or combustion engine. We see a lot of demand actually for combustion engine coming on recently. And here we have LOIs, and that's where we start today. This is high margin, low volume market. The next step is actually to go with our technology, because one of our USP is that the technology is small enough to be mounted on board of heavy duty vehicles. Here, what you can see actually coming from Switzerland is quite interesting. Trains is a very interesting application for regions where electrification is not happening or is actually being removed for other applications such as diesel. And here we're already discussing, that's really long-term, but we're already starting to discuss with companies that you can see here, because that's a long-term development. We need to be there on time. And that's a low margin, but high volume market. That's where we want to go in the future. In terms of achievements, that's for 2 years we are running the startup. We have accumulated over $1 million of US dollar or euro. We have made prototypes, we have business plan, now we have LOIs signed, feasibility studies ongoing. We have also our own lab, which makes a huge difference. And now we are fundraising 3.5 million in a seed round to make it happen through MVP, pilot sales, and demonstrations. The team, we are 8 right now, 2 co-founders. I'm from the automotive industry. I have 15 years of experience in Japan, in Germany, in Switzerland. I come from an entrepreneur family. We have 6 businesses in the family, so to say. And my co-founder is a financial, sustainable finance, banking, Ruben. And then we have a team of experts that does the chemistry, that does all the necessary technical development to make it happen. And that's the roadmap. It's the summary of what I just explained. We went from prototypes, demonstration, now we're raising our seed round and going for the first application in 2025 for a hydrogen refueling station, and later on with the industrialization for mobility application. That's a long run, that's really deep tech, and we really believe we have something to do in the game of hydrogen. And with this, I end up on my thank you and our ask. We are looking for the money I explained, but we're also looking for strategic investors and partners. We actually had people from Canada coming to us for manufacturing our technology because we're looking for expansion quick. And this is something we're really interested. So if you are interested about hydrogen, come to us. We really hope we can do something with it. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you for that. That's really sophisticated and, unlocks a lot of value. And I'll move on to our last one, which is Urmos Technologies, working on sustainable infrastructure. Here we go.
Hi, everybody. My name is Panagiotis. I'm co-founder and CEO of Urmos Technologies. We're an ETH spin-off, and our mission is to maximize the safe life of our infrastructure and buildings. And we need to do this because every second building and bridge in the US and in Europe has exceeded its expiration date and becomes older every day. We cannot afford replacing all of it, and this would be environmentally disastrous. At the same time, maintenance relies on inspections, So we have actually no clue when and where the next disaster will happen. We must use every byte of data that can make our infrastructure safer and more sustainable, and this is exactly what we do. We combine low-cost sensors with intelligent algorithms, so asset owners like AXA Real Estate or the Swiss Federal Office for Highways can know and predict their risks today and optimize costs for structural maintenance. In the example of a real bridge that we monitor in Switzerland, visual inspections exposed cracks. However, the actual effect of cracks on stiffness is unknown, and thus they cannot reliably assess whether the bridge will collapse tomorrow or it can be safely used for the next 50 years. Now, assuming that the left part of the bridge has cracks, it is less stiff, and it vibrates slower than the right part. Our software translates this information into stiffness and into traffic loads and enables the prediction of the optimal time for maintenance. For every year we extend the life of this bridge, Swiss taxpayers save money and reduce risks. This is why we have a 10 years project with the Swiss Federal Office for Highways. Our solution also works for buildings, and we have multiple paid projects, real buildings and bridges, including Acropolis in Athens. And our business model is quite simple. Today we offer everything, essentially we're one-stop shop to facilitate the acquisition. So we have in-house sensors that we produce, and we offer subscription per asset per year. Our goal is, of course, in the future to outsource the instrumentation and the hardware, which will allow us to be fully scalable. And there is a big market behind, essentially in Switzerland, considering only 5% of the assets of our Swiss clients. We translate already to 10 million per year. We have a very big market that if we extend it to the Europe and the US, our current targets actually shows a significant market potential, but these are not just numbers. In Italy, they have 40,000 bridges. One collapsed 5 years ago, and they invested 450 million for monitoring their bridges. In Greece, there are 10,000 bridges. One collapsed, and they invested 160 million in monitoring bridges. In the US, there are 600,000 bridges, and there are 100 bridge failures every year. And we're the right team to bring this project into life. I did my PhD exactly on this topic and worked as a professional engineer for 3 years. Yves, our CTO, did his PhD exactly in this field, was my postdoc during my PhD and has led over 40 monitoring campaigns. Christos did his PhD in data science, has co-founded 2 software companies with over 6,000 users worldwide. And Cyprian did his PhD together with a Swiss company for railways and has built our hardware 20 times cheaper than commercial off-the-shelf solutions. We have significant traction with the competitions and grants in Switzerland. We secured in total 1.8 million through grants, revenues, and prizes. We do not have investors so far in the team. We're part of the venture leaders team. First prize from the Autobahns, the German Ministry for Transportation. First prize from Swisscom and first prize from Swiss Innovation Challenge. We have a solution with significant impact for safety and for sustainability. And just think that all of you have a smartphone that costs $1,000 and includes 20 sensors. The beautiful buildings you are in today cost millions and do not have a sensor for their structural health. We believe that our solution is the future for monitoring the health of infrastructure and buildings. And with your support, we will make it happen today. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you for that. So happy to see this and that you have meaningful traction for such important work. At any given scale that it might be happening. So at this point, I'm going to head to a separate room with the judges. We're going to score you all and distribute the prizes. I'll announce how that works once we get back. Hello, everyone. Well, as you can see, everyone was a winner in some way. And given that, everyone will get a prize, but the top ranks will get more of the prizes that are a better fit for them. And we were able to talk with the startups before this event to see sort of what the fit would be. So among the variety of prizes that you saw, I won't say exactly what prizes they are getting, but it will be a cluster of them. I want to acknowledge that everyone does get a consultation with Alpha Plexus. So thank you for Wani for devoting those tremendous resources. So I'll start with the 9th rank. So there are 9 startups. So number 9, we have Lagrange AI. Number 8, we have Space for Good. Number 7, we have Deepeex. Number 6, we have Bohr Robotics. Number 5, we have Neology. Number 4, we have Hexam. Number 3, Swiss Vault AG. Number 2, we have Composite Recycling. And number 1, we have Ermos Technologies. Not sure how that resonated with all of you, but I'm eager to hear the audience vote. And I can also say now that number 1, Ermos, you will get the consultation with Foresight. That is the one very exclusive prize there. So congratulations on that. Tamara, audience vote.
Thank you
The
very much.
audience vote goes to Swiss Vault.
Okay, Swiss Vault. Trust me, it's going to be an exciting conversation with Jonathan Brill, AI futurist. Okay. I also want to say, and I deeply appreciate that, like a lot of our stakeholders, regardless of the prizes and the how the ranks turned out, some of our stakeholders do want to connect with some of the startups. So startups, you can expect that. Nothing stops them from reaching out to you anyway, even if it was not a prize. So I'm really happy about that. We can take all of the ideas and the content from the fest and translate that into tangible action for such an important category in the industry. So Tamara, I'll leave it with you to close out.
Thank you very much to everyone in the audience and of course to our wonderful startups, and have a great evening.